started.
Is he 40? He's a good kid.
Ms. Middleton, roll call, please.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hamilton. Here. Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Chauncey.
Here.
Councilmember Witt.
Here.
Assistant City Manager Custer.
Here.
City Attorney Litch.
Here.
We will have a special presentation, this council meeting, the TCRS presentation of the bridge plan.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this has been discussed, really, I believe it was brought up back when Bill Hughes was still lieutenant on day shift, when it first came into effect, when the state first allowed the plan. And it, created some talk within public safety. But it's never really went anywhere. So Tricia and I have met with the TCRS representatives and have went through the program and the PowerPoint, and now we've asked him to come to council and share that plan. And that way everybody kind of understands what the plan is as it relates to retirement for public safety, who it benefits and who it doesn't. So if you just take, right now, we're on a 30-year retirement, so you're penalized anytime you retire prior to 30 years. On the bridge plan, it's a 25-55, so you retire at 25 years of service, 55 years of age. If you take our current plan that we have today and a $40,000 employee, that $40,000 employee, if they decided to retire at 55 with 25 years of service, it would be somewhere around $900 and some odd dollars a month. You take that same $40,000 employee and put them on the bridge plan, and now their retirement goes up nearly $1,000 a month. So it enhances their retirement capabilities and also allows them to retire at a younger age and hopefully in good health still. So they'll be here to talk about all the pros and the cons of that at the next council meeting.
This is just for the public fire department?
Yes, it's only allowed for public safety. Right now, Collegedale, Saudi Daisy, Signal Mountain, I believe Lookout Mountain, Hamilton County Sheriff's Department have all, City of Cleveland have all went with this program.
You notice with the mandatory age of 60 in this, so the ones that's already, are they gonna be grandfathered?
There is no grandfathering in this plan.
No. So if we adopt this, everybody at 60 is out the door.
Unless they work 50% of administrative capacity, and then they can work till age 62. There's like a 2-year grace period if you have a 50% administrative function. It doesn't prohibit you from working in another department outside of public safety to finish your years of retirement. You will still receive that increased benefit for those years that you were in within the public safety department.
Any other questions? All right, under old business, ordinance 1103, this will be second and final reading if it passes tonight's agenda session. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend ordinance 1078 entitled, "An ordinance to provide revenue for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee for the fiscal year July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019, appropriating the same to the payment of expenses of the municipal government by designating a portion of the unassigned fund balance of the general fund and by changing the revenues of the general fund, grant fund, and drug fund, and by changing the expenditures of the general fund, grant fund, and drug fund."
Explain.
Please.
Okay. In this one, what we're going to be doing is we're going to amend the revenues to reflect some new revenue streams that we have added at the request of the department head. We have one, for example, basketball games. We have one where we now have the counties collecting some of our liens on property taxes. We will be putting that one in. We have a special donation from the Hampton Inn for the animal shelter, so we're going to be adding some in. And like with forfeiture bonds, I know we have some that we're going to be getting, so that has to be added. So we're going to add in some. And then in the expenditures, we're going ahead and starting the ordinance to reflect where we're going to be loaning funds to the grant fund So we'll be taking it out of the general fund and it'll be going to the grant fund. And then I have to have that reflected, and then the drug fund is doing so well, the state has been awarding us quite a bit of money. And so we have increased that, and they are also in the process of purchasing new vests. It's kind of somewhere expiring, and we do that out of the drug fund, and then it is put back in by the grant. So those are the changes that we have right now.
Thank you. Any questions? Next, in old business, we discussion of entering into an agreement with architect for the architectural design of the Richmond Fieldhouse and Rec Center for East Ridge High School.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I am waiting a proposal from Mortec. Adam and I both met with them, discussed the scope of work for them to get some preliminary figures together about what the design cost is going to be. And then what we will do is have a community meeting, because the whole idea of this concept is, yes, it will have some school use, but we have to be able to identify the community use, so we need to know what the community wants in that building. So once we kind of narrow it down, Architect will help us facilitate that meeting to see if, once we understand some cost and what the citizens are looking for within that rec center component, then this body can decide if they want to move forward with the project.
This is the same project that started out being a weight room, bathroom, concession stand.
Yes, sir.
Now we're adding a recreation center.
Yes, sir. If you want to keep the public purpose, it's your all's decision if you want to vote for it like it is, but my recommendation, unless it has the public purpose, then no.
Adding that recreation center, though, we're gonna have to hire somebody full-time to man it.
Not necessarily. We plan on using more labor as part for Parks and Rec as part-time.
How far out are we on that grant that we discussed here a couple of council meetings ago?
The NFL grant, Amanda, do you know when that's supposed to award?
I have not heard yet, but we're also, if we can get the LPRF grant finished by this year, LPRF for 2020 comes out next year, and that's a possibility that we can apply for that, because again, there's up to $500,000 that we can apply for, just like we did with the playground, which will make it $1 million project. So we would have more than enough money if we're able to apply for it.
So you foresee that grant being here before July 1?
They may award it before July 1, but I don't know, to be honest with you, because it's a foundation grant. It's not like a large grant, like a state grant or a federal grant.
Thank you. The reason why I'm asking about that is, last council meeting, the statement was made, someone had been talking to county commissioners.
That's correct.
Since then, I have talked to county commissioners. They have enlightened me on the money situation. And something been done by July 1, there may not be no money. So, I mean, you're talking about the 50,000. So that's the reason why I'm asking about the grant to get us.
We've had that same conversation.
Yes, we've had that conversation as well. So you're looking at the 50 that was previously, which is, we need to move. I'm told that if we're positively moving forward with this project, that will stay in the budget. We also have the 75 from the Alumni Association, but also just this budget year, there's been a request from the county of $150,000 toward this project, and another $300,000 request for the track from the county.
The statement I was told the other night was that it's in the talk stage and not the problem stage. It really depends on their budget.
I understand that. That's why I said it's been requested.
I don't want us to be sitting there depending on
I understand that. Appreciate that and definitely understand. Any other questions? Next, under new business, a unnumbered resolution, THSO grant from Police Department.
Yes, Mayor and Council, talking with Acting Chief Stan Allen, I believe, are we going for a program? The program grant that also means that there will be overtime and equipment involved, and so that is the direction. It's a 100% grant. If we were just to go for a high bid, it's only $5,000 for equipment, but with program grant, we can ask for more money for the program. So, it is due at the end of the month. So, Assistant Chief is working on that, and we will go back on the 28th, because it's due on the 29th, to let you know what it is that, exactly we're going to do in that program.
And how much?
Yeah,
I'm still working on it.
Still working on it. Okay, thank you.
but again, it's a 100% grant, so of course it's reimbursable to spend it, to get it back, but if we don't have a match for it, no match requirement.
Perfect.
This has nothing to do with the one we was talking about here last time with the fire department,
That's the
about an
firehouse
equipment
stuff.
grant.
That's firehouse stuff, it's totally new.
No, this is, what we was talking about, maybe using the money to buy a fire engine with, because it's considered equipment.
I don't recall a conversation about fire equipment or a fire truck, but that is the
I asked a question, and first one, the answer was no, and then they come back and said, well, it's equipment, so the answer is yes.
There's two types of federal grants, and the SAFER grant itself is related to the personnel. The Fire Protection and Safety Grant, which we didn't apply for, is equipment related.
correct.
So we didn't apply for that with the fire department.
I don't believe it's open yet. The only one that's open at the moment is Safer Grant.
Yeah, and the SAFER grant was the manpower grant.
So, but once the equipment one opens up, then we will apply for it, and so whatever type of equipment that they're looking for is what we'll apply for. I'm sorry, I know you missed that part of the conversation, but I thought you meant the firehouse grant, because we are doing that for fire.
That was actually my mistake.
Any other questions? Thank you. Next item B, numbered resolution, change order integrated properties for restroom concession building.
Yes, Mayor and Council, Integrated Properties has submitted a change order in the amount of $56,513.35. This is for building number 4, which is a restroom and concession combination for the quad and fields 9 through 12. If you look at the attached change order, it outlines what electrical and plumbing changes are being requested by the general contractor. This amount could potentially be lowered, roughly $11,000, if we are able to navigate some of the utilities through one of the ball fields instead of going on the runway and causing a lot of patching and paving work. So it could be in the neighborhood of $45,000 instead of $56,000. Some of the changes that are costly is mainly related to paving and patching, but there are some additional costs with the electrical service itself.
Council, is there any questions?
Yes, sir. On the bottom of this page here, where you've got it, telling about all the changes in the building, the original building 4 scope. Is that the original cost of $41,000? What was the original cost of building 4 to begin with?
$126,000.
Yeah, it's $126,740.
All right, and that was just for a bathroom.
Correct.
Okay. Now we're adding
We're adding a
air
concession.
conditioners, 15 lights, where we just had 9, going from 125 amp box to 200 amp box. So the original cost was 126. And now we're going to be deducting 41 from that.
The new cost is,
The total cost of everybody. That's what I'm
well,
trying to
you
figure
would
out.
add this change order number to 126,740.
So we're gonna add 56 to that.
Right. And like I said, it could be lowered to 45 if we don't have to go outside of the field to get this work done. It could be as low as 45,000.
You foresee any more change orders?
I hope not.
Well, you gotta look at facilities that's been there for the last 50 years, and we continue to run into issues. Bill was talking to me this morning about when they were doing the demo, or pouring the pad for the restrooms between fields 1 through 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, I guess it was.
5 through 8.
5 through 8. That the original water line was put in at one place, and then at some point in time, in the last 10 years or so,
That was all figured in the.
it was moved. Well, we're hoping it was, but we hope we don't continue to run into other utility and depth issues.
Like today, for instance, we had a huge water leak over near soccer that just out of the blue, just started, gushing water, and so Bill and his staff went over there and shut the water off until we get it fixed tomorrow. But it seems like it's something like that every day.
And that was on the soccer side.
Yes.
Still going to be discussing the county room, so.
Any other questions, council? Moving to item C, another resolution donation of East Street Elementary for teacher appreciation.
Yes, sir. Along with the memo, I put the principal's letter in here explaining what he wanted to use it for. The teachers do above and beyond, and we give it to them for their discretion. And he'll be here at the next meeting when we do the resolution.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions, Councilor? Item D, another resolution, approval to waive fee for Vietnam Veterans Chapter 203 to use large picnic pavilion on May 4th, 2019 for the annual picnic.
The Vietnam Veterans Chapter 203 has requested use of the large picnic pavilion in Camp Jordan for no charge on Saturday, May the 4th for their annual veteran picnic. Asking the fees to be waived.
Perfect. Any questions, council? Item E, another resolution approval of bid for the installation of guardrails on South Seminole Drive in Bennett Road.
Yes, Mayor and Council, you're aware, we've had several incidents where vehicles have struck the parsonage there at the corner of South Seminole and Bennett Road. They came to us about any safety equipment that could be installed. We had our engineers evaluate it, and they designed the guardrail section, some protection by the use of guardrails for that intersection. We opened the bids on March 19th, so we'll have those to present at the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, council?
Well, guardrail's already on one side.
Yes, but not in front of the house. Right there at that corner.
Well, take it all four corners,
It's going to be in the two corners of where that house is.
coming out Bennett Road.
Yes. Heading towards South Seminole. Or heading down South Seminole towards Bennett. So where the house is, you'll be looking at two sections of guardrails, how they got it designed. Where it kind of wraps around that corner.
We're putting on the right side or the left side, it's Bennett.
The left side of Bennett. If you're heading west.
Side the church is on.
Yes.
That's the only section there that we're gonna put them in.
Yes.
I don't think there's any guardrails out there on all four corners. I could be wrong, but I'd spoken to several residents that live up and around that area, around Tamarack and Frederick. And I'm all in favor of putting the guardrails up, making it safer intersection, but what would warrant that intersection to be a four-way stop? Because we've got four-way stops in East Ridge that see much less traffic than that.
So there's been traffic studies done, and the amount of traffic that it utilizes South Seminole, it would create a significant backup.
So we've already had it.
Yeah, because there was a discussion about even adding a traffic signal there.
There was a discussion about that putting red light there. I don't ever remember what I got about that.
So, and I guess I'm just trying to, and I haven't counted the cars coming up McBride right there at the intersection of Bennett. I know there's a lot of traffic that comes in through there, and there's always somebody stopped at that stop sign. And I just was, the guardrails would make it safer in case of an accident, but putting a stop sign there, making all four, making it a four-way stop, but ultimately stop the wrecks from happening, period. I mean, I didn't know if it's, yeah, but you said there's already been a traffic study done, and it would significantly back up.
Yeah, and what I can do is I can follow up with our traffic department and have them look into it, because they actually follow the MUTD, I believe, which is the municipal traffic guide. And it actually tells you where you can put it based on certain traffic counts and things of that nature. So if that's a possibility.
Well, I know when you're coming up Bennett Road, heading west, and you're trying to take a left turn, you're looking at the churches over there, there's a little hill there. It's kind of a blind spot. And if it's anywhere near commute, you really got to throw yourself out there to turn on to the Seminole. And the same with coming down Bennett Road from the ridge, if you're trying to make a left turn, you really got to turn your neck all the way to the left, and that's almost a blind spot. So I did a little bit of research, and it seemed that it fit some of the criteria, whether there's 5 or more accidents within a 12-month period of time, and if there's blind spots there or whatnot, and some other things I believe that obviously need to go into it. But I mean, it would be a good idea to look into it if it's something that could just permanently just stop the wrecks from happening.
I'll discuss it with our traffic department. Provide an update when we do the bid up.
Any other questions? Item F, numbered resolution, approve the waive fees of the Church of God of Union Assembly to hold a free community egg hunt at the amphitheater in Field area on Saturday, April the 20th, 2019.
Yes, Mayor, Council, Church of God of Union Assembly has requested use of the amphitheater at Camp Jordan to conduct a free community Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April the 20th, 12 to 4:30. They did this event a couple of years ago also.
Awesome. Any questions, council? Item G, unnumbered resolution, consider closing permanently a portion of the RV lot at Camp Jordan Park.
All right, staff has determined there's a significant water leak in sections 2 and 3 of the RV campground at Camp Jordan. Still hasn't been located. We've had members of our own staff as well as building maintenance, Byron and his staff, take a look at it. We've dug up areas that we thought the leak was where it was at, but we've been unable to find it. So currently the water's shut off over there in sections 2 and 3, but it's a continuing nuisance. We're incurring water bills when we do turn it back on and we think that it's fixed. Several $1,000s, I believe.
Yes, sir, even this year in the park itself, and most of it is gonna be from those leaks, we have spent $39,571. Because you have to remember, it's the water, but then it's also on a formula, WWTA. That water spitting on that meter, we have to pay the sewage, soaking it back into the ground. I know since the last 5 years, I'll go back and run an analysis, and you'll see how much, I think one year we hit almost $100,000 for leaks. I mean, that's what it is, it's leaks in the park. And we're just throwing money in the ground, literally.
not only do we have the issue with the water lines, all the transformers and boxes out there have been submerged a number of times. And they're rusted. And ideally, if council chose to do away with that, then the idea would be to remove all that old infrastructure that's there. Just run
I have a
I
question,
believe
but
it will
everyone
go
has,
back.
you may be going where I'm going.
it. Resolution.
I believe it will go back. There's already been a motion made to close them.
Yeah. I
With the
think that's what I was
exception
about to
of, I think, 7 spots, I believe.
Yeah, those are the ones right up front. That's one where we run the new water line up there.
What we're gonna be asking for is to confirm that closure based on the language that was in
That's
that original
section one.
ordinance. No, section 1 would stay. It would
Where
be,
is section one?
section 1 is actually right next to the
say.
pavilion.
Pavilion.
So how many spots are there?
I just actually spoke with Bill, I don't remember if it's 10? Okay, Ken's saying 10. That would be all that we would be left with.
Those 10 plus the 4 up there? Or is that all included in it?
Well,
You know, the new water line will be run up to the pavilion. And how many spots? 3 or 4?
yes.
On it?
So 1 and 2 combined would be 10.
Okay. Plus the Blackwater hole up there.
Yes. So ideally, what we would request is to, what we have functioning now that doesn't leak is to keep and maintain up near the pavilion, but then do away and remove all the old boxes and everything, the rest of the parking lot.
So we'll be removing the electrical also.
Yes, and that's one thing we would discuss with EPB, because a lot of those transformers are old EPB transformers, and they may be able to just DC those.
So we still have that motorhome show coming in.
We have Bugapalooza end of April.
So we're supposed to have a motorhome show coming in. It's going to be inside the arena bus over there. Something like string up.
Airstream,
Airstream.
We've had that in the past.
That was
We've
last
had it in
year,
the past.
it was last
They're
year.
not coming in this year,
every other year.
every other
Every
year.
other year.
Have they booked for the next year yet?
They're looking at dates.
They're looking at dates. Well, then if we close it, we'll have to let them know that they just need to be
That's
self-sufficient.
what I was getting at. Yeah. I think personally, we've already closed it.
Those far ends, absolutely, I agree. I had Janet pull up the resolution, we discussed that, but we want to add some more clarification in there so we can, it says closure, but it doesn't say anything about us removing all the old infrastructure and stuff like that. We want to get all
But
that.
it did say the whole RV park.
No, no, that's what it was, it didn't say permanent. So we'll provide a copy of that resolution also.
Any other questions? Item H, another resolution for capital outlay, interfund loan for the general fund to the grant fund.
Yes, sir. That has to be a resolution which we'll have at the next meeting, and it will say not to exceed $1.5 million. It will not be used all at one time. We may not use $1.5 million. But what it is that we will loan the money to the grant fund. The grant fund has 3 years to pay the money back to the general fund. Once we do that resolution, it has to go to the Office of State and Local Finance. They have to approve the loan, just like they would any other issue, any other bond issue or any capital outlay note. They have to approve it because we are issuing debt technically to ourselves. At that time, I'll send them, along with the resolution, a letter from me, the mayor, and then I have to send the cash analysis for that fund. And that goes with it, and then they'll turn it around, saying, so, she said it should not be a problem at all, but we do it, this is the state's procedure.
And this is for the acquisition of right-of-way from Tomers to Kingman,
McBride, Kingwood.
McBride to Kingman.
Any questions? Item I, a number resolution, the appointments to the zoning appeals board, it appears that all are going to expire, every one of the appointments for each one of us, on April the 8th, so we'll be considering, who you would like to reappoint. And we'll put this on the next, I guess we'll just roll on the next agenda, accept appointments at that point. Any questions? Item J, resolution 2913, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the transfer of certain city property as it relates to the Tennessee Department of Transportation Multimodal Access Grant.
Yes, Mayor and Council, the reason why we're bringing this to you is through the right-of-way process for the right-of-way of the multimodal grant, the property that is Station 1, we will need some right-of-way in order to construct the 10-foot multimodal path. And so since the city is paying all the other property owners, we don't necessarily want to pay ourselves to buy our own right-of-way. So we need to convey the section of right-of-way that we're going to need for the pathway for the grant, specific for the grant. And you have to, do just like you would purchasing somebody else's right-of-way, we have to go through the same motions even though it's our own property. So it would be paying for it for like $1, in essence.
Any questions?
There's a parking lot side between the police station and the oil change place. Looks like there's a paved walkway between them two on the fence, thing there. Who's that belong to?
This is actually part of the walkway that went to the back of McBride School to allow people to access the school.
Any other questions? This is highlighted to move forward.
Yes, sir. We will have to go ahead and get that taken care of while we're in this process.
So with council consent, we'd like to move this to the agenda tonight. Do I have a motion?
I second it. I second it.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Hilton and a second by Councilmember Witt. Roll call, Ms. Cole.
Vice Mayor Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes, not to exceed $1.
Councilmember Johnson.
Yes.
Councilmember Webb.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
I'll even donate that $1 for you. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Council, do we have anything to take? Do you have anything to say? Do you have anything you?
No, sir, not this time.
Vice Mayor. Councilmember Johnson? Councilmember Witt?
No.
All right, I will adjourn this agenda work session. We'll take a brief reset for camera. Look for my special.